Thank you very much, Kelvin, and thanks for having me on to speak to all these fine folks at the Agency Summit. So, bit of an intro to me. On top of what Kelvin just mentioned, my name is James, work over at Hootsuite as a partnerships manager in EMEA. And a bit of background, so I started my career over at PricewaterhouseCoopers in the UK, actually working in digital consulting, moved tech side in 2014 when I went over to Vancouver and started working for Hootsuite. Spent about 5 years at a pre-sales role, working with our largest clients globally to make them or to help them realize the value from their investment with Hootsuite, and then moved across to the partnerships team in 2019 and currently running partnerships with DSPs, digital solution providers across the whole of EMEA. So that could be, agencies, resellers, consultancies, big strategics, and is one of those great partners. So really appreciate them having me on to speak with you all. And so why are we here today? So today, I'm going to aim to provide a high-level understanding of how Hootsuite enables agencies to deliver value for customers. So helping them service your clients better, helping them win more pitches, stay at the forefront of a constantly changing industry, certainly one which has changed quite a bit recently. So in terms of a brief agenda, I'm going to have a little look at the state of play for agencies, particularly in Africa. Then I'm going to do a very, very brief introduction of Hootsuite. I'm sure there's some understanding and knowledge of who Hootsuite are. And then we're going to look at how Hootsuite can help agencies. So, state of play of agencies in Africa. So it's been a bit of a tough ride, I think would be a fair thing to say. So the region has been obviously struggling economically for the past few years. From my preliminary research, it looks like that hopefully should be bouncing back. I saw that South Africa has got a predicted growth rate of above 3% in 2021, and some of the more emerging markets will be in advance of that. So that's positive, but certainly within the broader context of macroeconomic issues the past few years. COVID didn't help, and this had a huge impact as it did everywhere else. Huge increases in public spending, which kind of contrasted sharply with big reductions in private sector spending. And that reduction in private sector spending had a lot of agencies scrambling. So companies were retracting their media and their marketing spend. So agencies have really been trying to figure out how they can find new revenue channels, develop new products, see how they can align with this changing world after COVID. And that creates some exciting opportunities to align with those new trends. And some of the trends that I've seen within the agency partners that we work with is, revisiting organic, that thing that everyone forgot about a few years ago, but leveraging organic to create a more human interaction with their customers, moving towards customer experience in a big way, like I said, to humanize their brands, because it's the only way that they can maintain loyalty with a remote customer. I think performance marketing is kind of taking a bit of a hit, especially when you take into account the third-party cookies dilemma, which is currently going on. So we've had a huge focus on performance marketing in the last few years. I'm seeing agencies start to look beyond that as ways that they can generate revenue. And then there's, of course, the big trends of data privacy and antitrust and how agencies can play a role within that as companies are looking for help with how to manage the capturing of data in a digital space. One area that I think is definitely exciting is influencer management. I see that aligning with the constantly growing trend of e-commerce, and anyone that truly cracks the influencer marketing and influencer management space, I think stands to gain quite a lot in the years to come. So, I mean, the first kind of couple of those were seemingly negative, but I kind of feel like I ended on a bit of a positive note because we're seeing urgency need to create innovation with the invention of new services and products. And I see that aligning with huge potential, particularly in the Africa region, because Africa already has an incredibly high social media usage. And if we take the stats for the Southern African internet user, they're already spending 3.5 hours on average per day on social media. So companies are clearly looking to that as an opportunity to connect with them. And then the region is also very, very mobile centric. So mobile already accounts for just under 80% of the share of total web pages served to web browsers. And Southern Africa has an unbelievable 165% of mobile connections compared to the population number. And this is actually the highest region in the world. So notwithstanding the fact that it's been a bit of a tough run, I'm pretty firm in my belief that agencies stand to gain from the large growth potential in terms of new digital trends and internet usage and access, greater internet access on mobiles with the advent of 5G, as well as companies realizing the need to connect with this growing digital market in new and exciting ways. So bit of a recap on the state of play, and now we're going to touch on how Hootsuite can help. But I guess first of all, who are Hootsuite? And I'm sure that a lot of you will be familiar, given that you're in the agency space, and Hootsuite's been in the digital marketing and agency space for several years, but there's been a lot of new developments. And so I'll kind of give a bit of a recap. We have been around since 2008. Fundamentally, we help businesses engage and measure their social activities across the entire customer journey. I'll go into a bit more about what that means shortly. But we operate with what's called a freemium model. So anyone can go and download Hootsuite right now, have a little play around in the dashboard and use it to manage their own social media networks. As you then grow into small, medium-sized business, we have plans that suit that kind of small to medium-sized enterprise all the way up to the enterprise space. But that freemium model gives us a few unique characteristics in the space. So first and foremost, we have 18 million users, which is a huge user base, people who are familiar with the technology. It means we've got a great brand. We've got 3 billion followers across all our various digital assets. It also means that we build with UX as a core focus, because if you have that freemium, imagine if Spotify was impossible to use, they'd never get anybody converting to that kind of paid program. Hootsuite is exactly the same, all the way up to our enterprise level. It's built with UX as a kind of core facets of how we do business. Also means we can handle scale, because if you've got that many users, you need to be able to send up to, as you can see, 30 million messages per week. But that freemium entry point also makes us very, very capable in the enterprise space as well. And we've got over 3,500 clients in, enterprise clients, a huge presence in the Fortune 1000. And we, of course, have external validation. And yes, we like the Forresters and the Gartners. But G2 is a user-generated review platform, and to get a leadership status on there is really what we're about, because we want to be viewed in the eyes of the users as the leader rather than the kind of industry titans. So in terms of what we do, I like to summarize this in 4 key pillars, and I promise I'm not going to spend too long it, but fundamentally, we help clients reach their business goals with social. You've got those 4 pillars. Number 1, build and manage your brand. This is the getting your message out there. Publishing, scheduling, content management, organic and paid, even employee advocacy. So advocacy solutions to get your message shared in a secure and scalable way is that huge big pillar that I think Hootsuite is most known for. Then you've got strengthening relationships to your community. So once your message is out there, what happens when people start coming back and speaking to the brand, needing to engage with them in a kind of consistent way? So aggregating all of your social networks into one place, enabling with your CS teams to have kind of pre-canned responses, being able to report back on response times, etc. So helping with that customer engagement, customer care functionality on social, which, like I said, has been a huge growth in the last few years, particularly in the last year, as no one's been able to actually go into the shops and things. Thirdly is driving business results on social. So this is all around, as you can probably tell, performance management, but going beyond those vanity metrics that perhaps social is usually associated with, your likes and your shares and your followers, but really connecting it to the business metrics. So being able to show cost savings, being able to show revenue, being able to show how social is impacting our web activity and conversions, and then being able to optimize on that. That's that third pillar. And then lastly, integrating social across your organization. We'll talk about this when we look a bit more around how Hootsuite can help agencies win. But you can't treat social as if it's in a vacuum anymore, either from a kind of personnel or a technology standpoint. So if you have a social team, they need to be connected to sales, they need to be connected to customer service, they need to be connected to marketing. And the systems that they use, social needs to speak to them as well. So Hootsuite plays nicely with some of those business systems, be it a CRM platform, be it a marketing automation platform. So in a nutshell, that is kind of how we add value to organizations. And what I'd like to do now is put it in a bit of a framing for you all as agencies to start talking about how we can help yourselves, be that, generate revenue, better service clients, cut costs. So that's really the purpose of this presentation. So in a nutshell, 3 main ways. So we can help agencies by helping them service their clients better by efficiently delivering high-performing social media marketing services. So the traditional services that agencies provide, ultimately allowing them to gain more revenue. Secondly, you can improve the efficiencies by leveraging Hootsuite. That's around, like saving time, saving efficiency, saving cost, which is ultimately going to add to the or help the bottom line, as it were, because you'll be able to either serve the same amount of clients with less costs, i.e. employees, or you'd be able to serve more clients with the same amount of employees. And then lastly, it enables you to win more business. And I'm going to go into each one of these 3 areas in a little bit more detail now. So servicing your clients better. I've tried to group this into 4 main areas in which I believe that Hootsuite really enables agencies in particular to service their clients better. And the first one is governance and security. So I talked about that macro trend of data privacy and antitrust really picking up, and organizations really need help maintaining the security of their brand and their customer data online. So Hootsuite can help agencies mitigate that concern, because rather than accessing social natively or sharing passwords or, like needing to double check which agencies, creative media, etc., they're bringing into their social media activity, Hootsuite enables them to be able to organize and manage it from a centralized and secure dashboard. So there's no sharing password. You can provision access to the right people. You can even choose to let your clients get ultimate say of whether something goes live. So you as agencies can come up with the creative, the scheduling, the campaign, but then ultimately you can have your clients in the platform as an approver to be able to say, yes, that's cool, we're ready for it to go live. So governance and security is a big piece. Secondly is performance reporting. And I think, like I mentioned just previously, is top of funnel metrics don't cut it anymore. So what Hootsuite can enable you to provide for your clients is first of all, a consolidated view across organic and paid channels. And I can imagine a lot of you would spend many hours trying to consolidate the various different sources of data performance for your clients, be it from different social networks or be it from organic there and paid there. So it consolidates it all into one place. And then secondly is because we can connect through to web analytics tools, things like Adobe Analytics and Google Analytics, you can actually report on lower funnel metrics, which going to usually be of greater interest to clients, because it's going to be getting towards that holy grail of ROI. So being able to say, okay, this marketing campaign generated X traffic, Y number of click-throughs, and if it's an e-com company, you can even put a certain amount of dollars on the end of it as well. So really being able to have full funnel reporting on your campaigns, on your clients' campaigns in a simple, usable format. And then just lastly, in that performance reporting piece is if you are, like moving in towards that region of customer experience, you can also report back on how long it's taking for your clients to respond back to their customers. Or perhaps if you take on a bit of that, capability yourself, you'll be able to optimize response times per category and then make improvement recommendations based on it. So performance reporting is a large area in which you'll be able to add value to your clients. Third area is campaign optimization. I think this is pretty much what Hootsuite is best known for. This is basically, the planning and creating campaigns for your clients with collaborative content scheduling and publishing. You can add paid media to that as well. And if you want to automatically boost the best content based on certain rules and regulations within the Hootsuite platform, you have that capability to do so. But I think from an agency perspective, where if you're full service, for example, you're going to be doing performance reporting and campaign optimization, you're going to be able to create a feedback loop from those insights that you get from reporting to be able to improve your campaign performance, which is ultimately going to help you meet your clients' goals. So happy clients, more revenue, more future business. And then this last piece on how to service your clients better, tying into their existing technology stack. For me, this is the real value add for both technology organizations like Hootsuite and agencies. So if we can become embedded in their existing stack or ways of doing things from either a technical or services standpoint, that can be incredibly valuable, because that IP on the part of the agency will be very, very hard to replicate. So for example, we work with a ton of different service providers that exist solely because of their implementation knowledge of big strategic MarTech solutions like Adobe or Microsoft or Salesforce. And then for us, from a technology standpoint, we try and integrate with those solutions. And a large trend that we're seeing with our agency partners that we work with is, and our clients that we go to directly, is the request to truly integrate social from a technical and a services standpoint with CRM systems, business intelligence systems, analytics systems, ad tech. And you as agencies have the opportunity to build out new services around these. It could be audience profiling and targeting. It could be advanced analytics. Data management is a huge piece of area, or an area that our clients are needing help with. And I think I've said a couple of times, the CX management, like that customer experience management, mapping a customer journey from end to end and being able to, map out touch points, be it on social or text message or email or phone, and leveraging their existing systems to help augment that experience for the end customer. That is money. And if you start being able to help those large organizations do that, you're looking at kind of 3, 4, 5-year contracts, which hopefully is something that you're all looking to hear. So that's about servicing clients better. Second area in which I think that Hootsuite can help you as agencies is improve your own efficiencies. And so for me, this quite simply comes down to saving time and money. This is about taking on more clients with your existing resources. So first of all, from a technology standpoint, you've got the Hootsuite platform, which, like I've mentioned, you can provision access, you can create different teams, you can create different organizations for your various different clients. And so what this is going to mean is that you can organize and manage multiple clients from a centralized, secure, and scalable platform. Then secondly, you've got the ability to kind of save time and money with the automated workflows that come into Hootsuite. So it could be scheduled reporting, for example, or proactive notifications that mean you don't have to constantly be there scrolling through and refreshing to see when your clients have got an inbound message, for example. Other example could be you could build out analytics templates within Hootsuite in line with your agency's area of expertise. And then when you bring a new client on into it, you can just click duplicate. So you don't have to go ahead and replicate it. You just dupe, and they're going to be really meaningful reports for your clients that seem really value add, but in effect, it's just being done automatically. So that out of the box solutions is really going to help your efficiencies. And again, just to recap, why we've got such a large user base, it is because of that ease of use. So this isn't going to be something that you or your clients are going to need to massively retrain to learn how to use. We've found that 51% of Hootsuite users actually switched over to Hootsuite primarily for that ease of use. And if you start looking at time and efficiency cost savings, we've found that on average, Hootsuite users, particularly the ones who are a bit more digitally mature, save over two times the amount of time that they use to manage social and create reports compared to using the native or less digitally mature platforms. The last piece that Hootsuite can help agencies is winning new business. And I've talked about it a couple of times, but developing new services in line with industry trends, we've seen a huge step shift in the way that organizations do business. Prioritization, performance marketing is really difficult. I think performance marketing is absolutely still important, and I happen to believe that it will evolve over time to meet these challenges of cookies and the various big technology companies out there trying to steal part of the pie for themselves. But I think a cool trend that as a result of that is that brands are realizing that organic isn't actually dead, and in fact is an important way to connect with their clients in an increasingly distant world. So CX management is a huge trend in helping brands embrace the world's remote customer. And one of the stats that I like, and this is just one example of a new trend that you could build out a new service for, but by 2023, more than 60% of all CS engagements will be delivered via digital and web self-serve channels, up from 23% in 2019. Organizations are petrified of this. They don't know what to do. And you as agencies are there as the digital experts. You have knowledge of the solutions and technology that can help these companies make the most of this opportunity. You can be there to tell them that actually this is going to save you a ton of money, and build out new services for that. I think, other new trends that you could align with, like we've mentioned, is data, because as a result of this, there's going to be more and more data, audience profiling and targeting, albeit without that cookie information. And these are all services that you can leverage Hootsuite to be able to target and build into new services that you can sell to those end clients. And then the second part of winning new business is insights for free. This is a little bit of a plug, I guess, but there's tons of qualitative data that Hootsuite produces around the trends that I've talked to you today, but fundamentally that you as agencies should be helping their clients with. And you can really leverage some of these assets like the Hootsuite blogs and the white papers that we produce, the thought leadership articles, to build out some of your own thought leadership in order to capture the eyes of those companies that are in your local market. And if nothing else, who doesn't like something for free? I'm going to wrap it up there, and say thank you to all for listening, and thanks to Kelvin and the Uno team for having me on. If there's any further questions, then please leverage Uno as our key partner in region. And from a personal perspective, I'm more than happy to answer any other further questions in follow up.